Hey, good morning, guys. How are you today? I hope that you're doing great. Today we don't have classes like in Teams. However, we are going to be working on a topic that I'm totally sure that you are going to enjoy. It's just basically like a review from the previous topics that we've been working on. And let me tell you that we are going to be working about the past of the verb to be, telling a story. But before, let me complete the introduction. We have here Itza Henry Padilla Escorcia telling a story, the past of the verb to be. As I was explaining to you before, the verb to be is the most famous verb in English. Why the most famous? Because it's the first one that we learn. Es el primero que aprendemos. Cuando estamos en el colegio, nos enseñan de primerito el verbo to be. Most of the time we repeat the verb to be over and over so many years. But it's not the only one in English. However, it's the number one in if we talk about famous. About famous, verb to be is gonna be number one. Okay, as I was explaining to you before, the past of the verb to be is was or were, depending on the subject. Tiene dos formas. Tiene la forma was y tiene la forma were. Do you remember when it's gonna be was and when it's gonna be were? Okay, let's practice. Let's review. I was. You were. He, she, it was. We were. You were. They were. If I say like Susana, Susana was or Susana were? Okay, Susana was. Why? Because Susana is she. Okay, I imagine that is clear because we were working on that. Estuvimos trabajándolo la semana pasada. Sabemos que dependiendo de a quién pertenezca el nombre de la persona, si es él, ella, eso, usamos was o usamos were. Susana es she. She was. But if I say Susana and Peter was or Susana and Peter were. Do you remember? Well, Susana and Peter were, because Susana and Peter is they. They. Okay, we have here some very important words that are going to help us to tell stories. Nos van a ayudar a contar historias. Okay, you remember there is versus there are. What is the meaning of there is in Spanish? You remember there is in Spanish is hay. And what about there are? There are in Spanish. There are in Spanish is also hay. But what's the difference? There is for singular and there are is for plural. Well, I'm gonna tell you the past versions of there is and there are. The past of there is gonna be there was. There was. Había. Había. And the past of there are is gonna be there were. Había. Ambas quieren decir había. But if I'm gonna say something in singular, si voy a decir algo en singular, tengo que utilizar there was. Y si voy a decir algo en plural, voy a utilizar there were. Let's check the examples here. Okay, in present we have there are two people. Hay dos personas. Hay dos personas. Versus there were two people. Había dos personas. Como estamos hablando de personas, estamos hablando de plural, yo no puedo utilizar there was. Tengo que utilizar there were. Miren, there are, there were. En ambas estoy utilizando plural. What's the difference? What do you think is the difference? Super easy. Number one, it's in present, and number two is in past. Hay dos personas versus había dos personas. That's basically the difference between there is and there are. One is for the present and the other one is for the past. Okay, if we are gonna tell a story, si vamos a contar una historia, which one do you think is like the most convenient one? ¿Cuál es la más conveniente? We have there are, there is, there was, there were. Normally when we are telling a story, it's a story in past. Casi siempre cuando vamos a contar una historia es porque esa historia comenzó en el pasado. Yes or no? What do you think? Yes, of course. Y si la historia comenzó en el pasado, puedo utilizar there are. Is that possible? Impossible. There is. Not possible. There was. It's possible for singular. Si lo que viene después es algo en singular, there was, it's okay. Y si lo que voy a decir después es plural, I need to use there were. There was, había, y algo en singular. There were, había, y algo en plural. Okay, the ones for telling stories are there was and there were. There was and there were are the chosen ones, las escogidas, las elegidas. For example, I have here a story. It says, there was a girl with a red cat. I was scared when I saw her. Había una chica con una gorra roja. Me asusté cuando la vi. You see, it's a story. It's a story. There was. Now, teacher, but why there was and no there were? ¿Por qué creen que es there was y no there were? What do you think about it? Yes, very good, because we are talking about a girl. A girl. Una chica. Una chica quiere decir singular. Only one. But let's imagine that it's not one girl, but two girls. Si no había una chica, sino dos chicas, ¿sería posible seguir con there was or it's not possible? It's impossible. Guys, it's no longer possible. It's impossible. Because if I'm gonna put here two girls, I need to change there was and use there were. Tendré que cambiar there was y colocar there were. Because if I'm gonna say two girls, dos chicas, that is the plural. So please keep it in mind. There was a girl, singular. There were two girls, plural. Okay, we have here some other examples. It says, it was a cold night and there was a strange silence. Era una noche helada y había un silencio extraño. There was, silencio, singular. We are talking about singular. So it's not possible to say there were. We need to say there was. It was a cold night and there was a strange silence. It was. Why it was? Because we are talking about the past. Las historias tienden a contarse en pasado. But let's imagine that it's something in plural, like this one. There were a lot of children on the street, and that's why había muchos niños en la calle, y por eso, entonces, niños es plural. Miren que entonces ya no aparece there was, sino que aparece there were. There were a lot of children on the street, and that's why. And then you continue the story. Ustedes imaginen qué pasó. You continue the story. It's a story that you can continue. Common mistakes. What are the common mistakes? Let me explain to you the most common mistakes when we are using this grammar topic. Okay, we have here, it was a good night. There was many people. ¿Cuál creen que es el error acá? It was a good night. There was many people. What's the mistake? Yes, guys, the mistake is that it's not there was. No puede ser there was. Porque many people, muchas personas. Muchas personas es plural. I cannot say there was many people. I need to say there were. La respuesta correcta sería there were many people, because there were is plural. There was is singular. Mike and Claudia was nice people. What's the mistake? What do you think is the mistake? ¿Por qué está malo? Mike and Claudia was nice people. Again, the verb to be is not was, is were. Si estuviera Mike solo, estaría bien colocarle was, pero people quedaría mal, porque people ya es el plural de personas. Entonces, Mike and Claudia, ¿Qué pronombre personal son ellos juntos? They, ellos, they. ¿Y cuál es la forma ellos del verbo to be? They were. So Mike and Claudia were nice people. Would be the right way. Sería la forma correcta. Mike and Claudia were nice people. Okay, this is something very funny and very interesting. I want you to please create your own story. Van a crear su propia historia. So let's imagine that this is the beginning of your story. La historia va a comenzar así. Last month I had an excellent experience. El mes pasado tuve una experiencia maravillosa. So you can continue telling us the story. Invent the story. Inventen la historia, continúen, so that you can create like a paragraph. Pueden crear un párrafo. Pueden utilizar there was y pueden utilizar there were, depending on what, dependiendo de qué. Remember, if what you are gonna say is gonna be in singular, si lo que la va a seguir es singular, there was. Si lo que la sigue es plural, there were. Okay guys, let me thank you very much for your attention for this video where I explain the topic that we are going to be working today. If you have any question or any situation regarding this, I'll be more than glad to help you out. Estaré respondiendo preguntas, dudas, and there are some exercises in Aula Virtual that I need you to complete so that we can practice. I mean, it's not a difficult topic, but it requires some attention. Okay guys, so once again, my pleasure for me being here with you. I wish you had a great day. Goodbye.